Hi, today I'm going to demonstrate a few things about the Reef Drifter. I'm going to show you how to prepare it for deployment. Then I'm going to open it up and look at the pressure case, describe some of the things about the pressure case, and then I'm going to open the top and pull the electronics out so we can download data from the flash. The flash storage on this device allows you to collect data at a higher resolution, and in this case it'll be every 15 seconds. You can collect data as often as every 5 seconds if you like. The drifter we'll be looking at today, there's no transmit function at all. You can turn the transmit function on and have it transmit, let's say, every 10 minutes or every 15 minutes or half hour, or 6 hours or 12 hours, but still collect the data onto the flash storage every 5 seconds, or in this case every 15 seconds. Now this feature is available on all Pacific Gyre devices with a GPS receiver. So anyway, let's get started with the Reef Drifter. So this is a Reef Drifter, and in order to deploy this drifter, it's pretty simple. You'll see there's a belt, or there's a Velcro strap in here that keeps a magnet in place. So what you want to do is just take that magnet out. It'll go from quiescent mode into deployment mode, and then you'll see the LED. I don't know if you can see that in there. This little LED will start flashing when the drifter starts writing data to the flash drive. You just put this thing in the water and it's ready to go. But what we're going to do now is we're going to take the electronics out from inside the shell, and first we have to take these 4 O-rings off, which connect the top and the bottom together. Come off pretty quickly, and then we'll take the top off and the bottom. So now you see a little bit more clearly. There's that flash, that LED spot where this will start flashing when the drifter starts collecting data to the flash memory. These are the deployment sensor screws. When the salt water conducts across these screws, the submerged flag goes to 1. It means the drifter's in the water. This is the sea surface temperature sensor. And then there's the location of the magnetic reed switch, which lines up with the blue spot on the end cap. And when we replace the end cap after downloading the flash data, we'll have to line this up again. Now, it's pretty easy to download. Let's open this drifter up. The drifter comes with this hex drive, which works well enough. But in order to speed things up, I have a 7/64 hex driver. And if I concentrate, I can do this pretty quickly. Okay, there's one. Screw is out. We've got to take all 4 of these screws out on the top. They hold the end cap in place. And what we're going to do is put this on my desk. We'll connect the serial line to it. We'll download the data. Oh, there we go. It's actually flashing now. You can see the green light flashing because this thing is on, and it was able to get a GPS fix even inside this building, and now it's writing that data to the flash drive. Now, when you have the transmit function on in this device, it will also transmit, and you can set the rate at which this transmits, and you can change it over the web as well. So you can, the benefit, oh, there we go. So now we have the top off. Let's put this on my desk. I'll tell you more about the flash as we go. So now let's turn the camera around. We'll look at the puck right there. All right, now um, we can disconnect the battery now. It's just easier, I think, to start from a known state when we're downloading the data. So we'll pull the wire, the power cable off, and then we will connect the. So what you get with your unit is this cable, which is got a USB side and the serial side, which connects to the board in this J5 port. Won't connect that just yet because we'll connect it USB to the computer first, and then we'll connect that. So before we do that, I just want to show you, if you don't have a way of downloading, if you don't have a serial, it used to be that Windows came with Hyperterminal and you could download data from a serial port real easily, but those days are gone. And what I recommend is that you go to www.putty.org, click here, and there's various packages available for there's one for Windows and one for Unix. So for Linux, there it is, Putty, and you'll do a serial port. In my case, I know the USB connects to COM3, and we can open that up and here. So what we'll do is we'll plug in the power. We'll watch this LED flash 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. That means it's working, and then we should plug this in, and we should hopefully get. Sorry, let's see if you can see what I'm actually doing here. Plug the serial port in, and there is the time displayed. Now, if it doesn't work the first time, if you don't see the time right there like I'm seeing, then just cycle the power one time, and then everything should work just fine. Now, there's a few commands that you can use while talking to this controller. There is the P command, and type P, and then you can program the transmitter or the flash drive. The transmitter, let's say if you press 1, the current transmitter setting is off. So this unit is being shipped with the transmitter off. It will not transmit any data. All the data will be saved to flash. All the data, even if you did turn the transmitter on, the data will still be collected to flash, but every hour or half hour, or even as often as every 10 minutes, the data will be transmitted through the satellite if you turn the transmitter on. We don't want to. That's not what this one is being programmed for, so the transmitter setting was not changed. Now if you choose P again, and we do 2 for flash, it says the current flash sampling seconds is 15. So that's the sampling period is 15 seconds. So you'll enter 3 digits for the flash rate. Let's say you go 005, return. Now the new flash sampling is 5 seconds. Let's hit P again, and we'll go 2 to flash. Let's change it back to 15 like it was, and hit return. Now the flash sampling rate is once every 15 seconds. The other command you can use is D, that downloads the data, and that's what I just did. It takes about a minute to download 8 hours of data. It should be done pretty quickly. There we go. Okay, so now I see the time is back. The drifter's back in deployment mode right now. If you were to put the magnet on, it would go back to sleep mode. If we right click up here, copy all the data to the clipboard, so that's what you want to do, or then we want to put it into Notepad. Let's start up Notepad, and there it is. Now we have the data, we saved it to the clipboard, so I should just right click and paste. And there it is. I can delete all the stuff in the front. I can page up all the way to the top, and I can delete all this. Okay, so now there's all our data. We'll see what that looks like when we process. So now let's save this. Save that file into a folder within a folder within my documents folder that I call Reef Drifter data. Let's just call this raw Reef data. And so this is data in the raw format, the same as we saw as it was being downloaded from the drifter. We'll save that, and we can get rid of this for now. So we will be sending you a zip file, README text file, and a GPS test GPS file. This has some raw data in it. You'll see there. This is a README file describing how to use the program. And then there's this zip file. Within the zip file there are the installation files for the GPS flash decoder. So what you'll do is you'll extract this and you'll change the setup.exe.txt name to setup.exe, and with all these in the same folder, you'll run the setup program and it will install the GPS flash decoder for you. Once that is installed, we open it up, it'll look something like this, is what you'll need. So you'll start this, and then you'll go to the folder where we put the raw data. You'll open that, and almost instantly it processes those 8 hours worth of data, and it stores the result in that same folder. So there's the process data. If you double click on that, it opens up in Notepad. This is data that we collected earlier. The format for the data is year, month, day, and then seconds past midnight, then latitude, longitude, and then submerged or deployed. 0 means it's not in the water. 1 means it is in the water. Then there's these GPS flags, 1, 2, or 3. 3 being a 3-dimensional fix, 1 being no fix, and 2 being a 2-dimensional fix. And then there's the sea surface temperature in Celsius and the battery voltage in volt. Now you can read this into Excel or MATLAB or whatever you like, and that's the process data. Now what we can do is we can disconnect the serial port and we can plug this back in. Now we have the blue dot lined up with a magnet, and we can quickly put the screws back in the top. They do not have to be tightened anything beyond snug. Just as soon as you feel them bottom out, stop. These are just holding the end cap in place. Okay, barely snug. Then, now the next step is how do we take the battery out of this end, and we just take the 4 screws out of the bottom now. Okay. So first you'll want to clip this little zip tie. Make sure not to cut the power lines. And the zip tie just protecting the lines coming out of that power connector. Then you'll disconnect the power. Now the power is disconnected. The next step is to take off the desiccant pack, and then to move this down, and then disconnect the Velcro line, and then you can pull the battery pack out. So in this case, this is still a good battery. You would then replace the battery if you needed to, sticking it back in here. Alright, then you want to connect this little rope here. That prevents tugging on that battery line. Let's see, put this in here like that. So I'll demonstrate that in a second. We can strap the battery on nice and tight. There we go. Now this actually, we can reconnect the battery. Now when we connect the battery, we'll look at the electronics just like we did before when we connect the battery above. We'll look and see. You can see it should flash 4 times. There we go. And then now, with that rope connected, you can't damage the connector if the battery pack sort of falls away from the unit. It protects that that wiring from breaking if the battery gets tugged on too much. So the next thing to do is to reconnect the desiccant, which is sort of the shiny side out. Weigh it nice and tight. So now we're ready to put the battery back in. Orientation of the battery is not as important as the top. Just line up your holes and just pull the top down. Okay. Now there's a pressure release screw here. If when you take this apart you find it's really difficult to pull the end cap off, that's because a vacuum has been created inside, and you can just remove that and then everything should come apart a lot easier. But just remember to put it back in again after you're done. But since we assembled this the first time here, there's no big pressure changes, so it goes together pretty easily. Now we'll take this and we'll do this really quick again. And as with the top, it's not necessary to tighten these too much at all. So now we've changed the battery, showed you how to download the flash data and how to, that magnet is not lined up in there. There, you have to get that in there. See, now it's clicked into place. Okay. Now now we have lined up, we can put this thing back into the top. Yes, pretty straightforward to put these back on. It's easier if you just have some kind of a driver. I'm using that same hex driver. I took the hex nuts out before. Let's just use that to get those on. Okay. Fourth one here. There we go. So now it's all ready to go. So once again, if you want to deploy this thing, all you have to do is pull the magnet strap off and it should fire right up. Go into deployment mode, drop this thing in the water, and you're ready to go. All right, so thank you for watching. We were able to show you how to deploy the Reef Drifter, how to download the flash data, and then how to change a battery pack. Hope you found that helpful, and good luck with your drifter.